anime that premiered on June 21st. A direct adaptation of an early PlayStation fighting game that famously served as the platform's primary launch title to compete against Sega's biggest fighting franchise. This fast-paced martial arts OVA captured the rivalry that defined an entire console generation. Designed by an artist who would later become the legendary chief animation director for the entire Ghost in the Shell cinematic franchise, this fantasy sci-fi adventure carries a visual pedigree that fans of that later work would immediately recognize. Rather than continuing its parent series chronologically, this bridge release consists entirely of unique animated music videos and comedic side stories existing outside the main narrative timeline, as something closer to a celebratory extra than a true episode. Widely recognized by historians as a foundational classic, this pioneering romance drama helped popularize and transition an entire genre from manga onto home video formats, opening doors that countless later productions would walk through. So deeply involved in his own adaptation that he personally wrote the official theme song lyrics, the creator of this cyberpunk classic ensured his vision carried through every layer of the production, not just the visuals and story. An incredibly rare promotional anime adapted directly from a niche tropical island RPG, released exclusively for a specific Japanese console, this colorful fantasy adventure remains one of the more obscure video game tie-ins from its era. One of the earliest examples of the gourmet battle anime genre, this culinary comedy established the exact over-the-top dramatic cooking competition tropes that a much more famous series would later perfect and popularize for a global audience. Based on a famous 4-panel comic strip by the same artist behind one of Japan's longest-running satirical gag comics, this quirky, everyday life comedy built its humor around the unexpectedly fertile comedic ground of mahjong culture. Featuring an aggressive cyber rock soundtrack that Western fans consider iconic, this stylish cyberpunk action OVA actually had none of that music in its original Japanese release. The entire score was composed specifically for the UK and US localization. Created as a direct marketing collaboration to sell a light gun peripheral for a Sega console, this sci-fi military adventure exists as a fascinating example of an entire franchise built primarily to move hardware rather than tell a story. Leaning heavily on visual concepts borrowed from a landmark work of hard Western science fiction literature, this ambitious journey through humanity's future among the stars stands as a direct homage to one of the genre's most influential creative visions. A pure music video collection serving as the bittersweet farewell to one of anime's most beloved idol characters, this release shows her departing Earth forever on a megaship, vanishing into deep space, closing a chapter for an entire generation of fans. Featuring early career animation work from a director who would later helm major franchises for one of anime's most respected studios, this dramatic youth romance OVA offers a glimpse of major industry talent before they became household names. Originally conceived as a short, explicit parody insert for an adult anime series, this wildly energetic sci-fi comedy was loved so much by its own staff that they pivoted the concept into a high-budget, mainstream theatrical spoof entirely on its own merits. Showcasing real-world classic motorcycles from the 80s with painstakingly accurate mechanical sound design, this grounded motorcycle drama captured the authentic spirit of Japan's racing culture, down to the smallest engine detail.